for the introduction and also for conducting such meetups every month, and also like he mentioned about KubeCon Hyderabad. So those who were not there, I think it was a miss, but next year probably when he and the team hosts again, you should be there. But hi, this is Haimantika, and thank you so much for joining on a Saturday. It's lovely seeing so many faces. Most of you I don't know, so maybe we can catch up after the talk while we are having lunch and network and make some friends after we go home. So today what we will be talking about is how you can build a SaaS application. I know as developers, we often think like some of us might be thinking about doing farming after AI takes over, and the other part thinks about building a SaaS application that can help us, make some bucks or something like that. So that's what I will be showing, that we have basically built an open source starter kit which you can either build on top of, or you can extend and then you can build your own thing. That's just making things faster. And then I will also talk about Hacktoberfest. Does anybody here know anything about Hacktoberfest? I see one hand, two hand, okay, very few people. So I am guessing most of you here are interested in open source. So it's about open source, that's why we are here. So before I start with the full session, a little bit about me. Hi, I am Haimantika and I work as a developer advocate at DigitalOcean. So my role basically involves 3 C's: code, content and community stuff. Other than that, I love traveling and I also like trying out different cuisines, very much like Atul. Other than that, I am also a Microsoft MVP for web development. So I keep building stuffs in front end mostly, and also a bit of AI stuff. And if you would like to know more about me or get connected, you can do that on X or Twitter. Basically my name is very unique, so you'll mostly just find, like if you search for my name, you'll find all my social media profiles, and I would love to get connected with all of you. So that's about me, and so this is what we will be covering today. The first one is a little bit of introduction to Hacktoberfest. Next I'll be introducing you to the starter kit, why we did that, and I'll be showing you a small demo of what it is. And what I did was, when I was introduced or when we were building the starter kit, I extended a feature on top of it, and that's what made me feel that okay, if I can do this, there are endless possibilities of building on top of the starter kit. And then finally I'll probably share some resources which you can check out after going home. First things first, what is Hacktoberfest? So now this month, September, we call it as Preptember. So how many of you here contribute to open source? Can I see some hands? Only few. Great. How many of you want to contribute to open source? Amazing, it's most of you. So now is the good time to start contributing to open source. Like September, maybe if you have never contributed to open source, there are few good to know things like reading contributing guides whenever you are going to a repository. Then if there are communities that these projects have, maybe join those, talk to the maintainers, look at some issues that you find interesting and try solving that. When I was in college, I did that, and that helped me learn about bigger code bases, how I can collaborate with people in async mode. So that helps. And why are we talking about Hacktoberfest? So DigitalOcean, we run this month-long initiative, and basically this is an initiative where you can contribute to open source from 1st of October to 31st of October. All you need to do is just go to hacktoberfest.com. The spelling is hacktoberfest.com. And what happens here is, once you have registered, you can go to GitHub and you can search the topic Hacktoberfest. There you will see tens and thousands of repositories that are participating. And depending on your tech skill, maybe some of you here contribute or code in Python, some of you code in Golang, some of you maybe code in JavaScript. So find the language or framework of your choice, and you will find multiple projects that are participating in Hacktoberfest, and that has the Hacktoberfest label. Find out issues, then express your interest in the comments and then start contributing. And if you can contribute 6 pull requests that either gets merged into the open source project or has the Hacktoberfest label accepted project, you will also get a Hacktoberfest t-shirt, and that goes to 10,000 contributors. So maybe you can try it out. And also, if you would like to know more about Hacktoberfest, we will be doing a meetup on 11th of October right here. And there's also a hackathon, so you have chances to get some swags, win some prizes, make some friends, build some MVPs. So maybe do join us. I'll share the link soon after this session. I did not add it here, but I can show it to you on Meetup, and I'll be more than happy to share it with you as well. So that's about Hacktoberfest. It might be a lot of information for those of you who are hearing it for the first time, but we also have a Discord channel where me and then there are other team members from DigitalOcean who is always there to help you, and it's a community of around 10,000 people. So you can just come, ask questions, and there will be somebody helping you out, even if you are a beginner and starting out afresh. So that's about Hacktoberfest and what we do and how you can contribute. So I would say, even if you are a beginner, just go to hacktoberfest.com, you will find all the resources there, and if at all, if you have any questions, you can join our Discord channel where somebody will help you. Next up, sorry, I'll just hide this one. Cool. And now comes to the main topic, which is the starter kit that I will be demoing. First things first, that why did we build a starter kit in 2025 when there is AI generating so much code? Before I go into the why, I would like to see how many of you here vibe code or write majority of the code with AI coding tools like Cursor or maybe Claude. I see one hand. Well, okay, majority of the hands. I think it's even if we don't want to, it's kind of a requirement that has come because we need to ship faster. So since most of you here have used AI coding tools, you know that it also generates a lot of code that is not relevant, or maybe you ask it to do something and it does something else, or even if you want to push that code to production, you cannot, because it will probably be leaking out your secrets, or you know, your API keys will be out. Basically it still doesn't follow the coding standards that usually goes in production. And while it's great for building MVPs, but still if you want to use something or build something that has multiple users, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And that's exactly why we build a starter kit for any SaaS application. By SaaS I mean software as a service, which I know most of you knows the full form, but any SaaS solution that you see, what are some of the things that it has? It has authentication, it has billing, it has a database, and then maybe it has some storage. And right now almost every product, even if it's not required, it has some AI features to it. So if you're trying to vibe code this entirely, that won't be possible. And if you're writing, that won't be possible, I mean that there will be a lot of tests and trials that you'll need to run, and then finally it will take longer. But we wanted to give you a kickstart where we are packaging, or you know, we have built all of these things for you, and you can just either take bits and pieces of it, or you can use it as it is and get started. So that's what I have mentioned here. So we called the starter kit as SeaStack starter kit, and right now, so SeaStack, it's a full pie, and within that pie we have one half, and that's called the C notes. So that's a simple C, like a note taking app that can generate notes with AI and stuff. But building that, we wanted to show you that using this starter kit is just one example, and you can build multiple examples with it. So like it says that like we at DigitalOcean, we built it, we saying that even though there is AI to help you, which is great, we also wanted to give you a kickstart so that you can build anything of your own. Like most of you might have ideas of side projects, but it takes you longer to come up with the MVP or to think how the architecture will look like, and finally that gets pushed by months, or that never happens, or it's always on your brain and never on the code. So that's why we built it. Before I go to the code, I would like to show you a quick demo. Yes, it's visible. So this is, oh wow. So this is like the landing page, and here you can, it's on this domain by the way, notes.getseastack.com, and if you can log in here, I already have my credentials, so I'll just log in. And then it redirects me. Okay, I need to zoom in. I hope this is visible now. And then it redirects me to this dashboard where I can add some notes, that maybe I can generate the note with Gradient AI. By the way, this generation that is happening, it's using one of our products called Gradient AI, which I will also show you in the integration part, how we are using serverless inference to generate billing and stuff. So you can save notes. So this is like only one basic functionality that we built using the starter kit. So this gives you an idea that basically you can use the starter kit as a foundation, and then you can extend it to build your own application. Now what I will be showing you the code for, I won't be coding it live because demo goes show up and it never really works. So right here you see this part called email invoice, right? And when I click on email invoice, our Gradient AI service is generating the invoice for me, and in a while it will be emailing it to me. So it says that the email has already been sent. I'll refresh it a bit, hoping it shows up. Yes. So I'll zoom in again. So if you see that this email was sent to me, and how are we building it, how is the email being sent, that is what I will be showing you now. But how many of you here have used email services like Resend or Twilio? I see Atul raising up his hand here. Twilio I think is a common one, but Resend is also something, RESEND is something that is also getting popular. First because it has great developer experience, second because it's a YC company, so there's a lot of promotions happening, and there's a lot of ready to use code that you can use to spin up your services. So let me go back to the presentation and let's get started. So that was the demo part, and like I was mentioning, this starter kit is open source, and we will also be participating in Hacktoberfest. So we will be adding some issues. How many of you here are Next.js developers? I see one hand, two hand. So if you can write Next.js and Tailwind and you're looking to contribute to Hacktoberfest, this could be a repository. We will be adding some simple like simple issues that you can get started. I'll share the link as well. So like I had mentioned, using the starter kit you can either use separate components. For example, one component that we have is billing, where we are using Stripe integration. Another component that we have is databases, where we are using Prisma for local development, and where we are using our own managed database for for production. Then we also have our storage service for the user profile section, and we also have AI service. So you can either use the entire part of it, or you can use parts of it as components, and then you can build anything that you want to. So there are two ways that you can build on top of it. Now, so what I wanted to show you for this demo is basically the email part, the invoice part that I just showed. So basically the flow is that there is a billing service. Any SaaS application will have a billing service because it needs to make money, and that billing service is using Stripe. So we already have the Stripe integration in the open source repository, and then we also, and this billing service, so there are different tiers. For example, I am on the free tier. Now everybody, so let's say if you are using Cursor, it gets built, and then it should give you an invoice so that you can probably get it reimbursed, or you can keep it for your own check. So that's what we built, and this invoice is being sent by Resend, which is an email delivery service, and this invoice is being generated using Gradient AI. So Gradient AI is DigitalOcean's AI platform. Like most cloud providers or most software companies have an AI solution, even we have one, and then we will be tying it up all together to build an let's say an invoice generating service that is getting the information from Stripe, that is using Resend, and that is also generating this entire invoice using Gradient AI, and finally sending it. So that's how the entire architecture works. Before I show you a little bit of serverless inferencing, very little, how many of you here knows what DigitalOcean is? Anybody? Oh nice, I see quite a few hands. So for those of you who don't know, it's a cloud provider similar to other cloud provider players that we already have in the market, and our main USP is that it's very simple to get started, and it's also cheaper on the pocket. So we have our own like we call it droplets. So if you would like to host your services, and like on your service it starts from $5. That was the most popular product and how DigitalOcean started growing. Other than that, anybody here who is who would want to host your applications, like that is my favorite service. We also have app platform similar to Netlify or Vercel, and then we have databases, storage, load balancers. Basically what we are a cloud provider, and we help you build the entire infrastructure part of the software that you are building. But today we will be focusing on our latest addition, which is the Gradient platform or the AI platform. So let's go to, yes. So I've already logged into my DigitalOcean profile. I'll zoom in a bit and you can just go to cloud.digitalocean.com. So if you are signing up for the first time, you will get $200 worth credit. So you can actually try it out without having to spend anything from your pocket. For all of you, for others who are already a user, and sorry, there is no coupon right now, so you will have to pay out of your pocket. But anybody who is new, you can just sign up and you will get $200 credit. So this could be your cue to maybe build the next MVP using the starter kit that I am showing. And this is our agent platform, which we also call the Gradient AI platform. I'll share you the documentation link. There's a bunch of cool features that we have. For example, if you would like to build a RAG pipeline, we have knowledge bases, and you can just, just not drag and drop, but you can just click and add your databases or APIs or functions and get started. So you don't have to go through the entire vector database part and go into the complexities of it. So there are multiple such features that we have, but one thing that we have used for the starter kit and what I would like to show you is this serverless inference. So what is serverless inference and how does it differ from a normal, the process of creating an agent and tying it. So if you are basically serverless inference, it just gives you an API or an endpoint, and you don't have to pay for anything else. You just pay for this. For example, we have multiple models that are already listed, which will show up here. If it's not visible, I'll just zoom it a bit. So we have models from OpenAI, Anthropic, Llama models as well. So you can just give it a name. It will give you an endpoint, and you just need to copy it and paste it on your code, and then it doesn't require you to build any agent. So you don't have to worry about the infrastructure part or anything else. You have the API, you have model access. You just need to call it and it will do what you want to depending on the prompt that we are giving. So let's see it through code a bit. All of this again is on the GitHub repository, which I will also show you once again. But I hope this is zoomed in enough. You all can view it properly till the end. I need to zoom it more. How about now? Perfect. So there is this file that we call it the invoice service. If you remember the architecture that we built, where we are pulling in data from Stripe, where we are pulling in, not pulling in, but where we are triggering, resend or the email service to send the email. This is where all of this is happening. So what we are, and this is also where we are using our serverless inference endpoint to actually generate the invoice. So let's scroll down a bit. And this is the inference API that we have. You need to add the API key that you will get from the console, and once you have added it to your env file, the service will be built. Now there are different models that we have, but for this one I had used the Llama model. So Llama 3, the 8B instruct model that I have used. Now it depends on what you want to do. If you want models with, if you want powerful models, you can also choose that from the list. And this is what, so since we are using serverless inference, we are not building an agent. We do not care about the infrastructure part. We have the endpoint, we have the model, we'll just tell it what to do. And this is where I have put in a prompt. This is where I am telling it that, okay, you are a professional invoice generator. So most of you here, how many of you here knows about the term called context engineering? Yeah, few of you. So this is a new term that's coming up. Unlike prompt, so in prompt engineering, what were we doing? We were just telling it that, okay, do this for me, but it was not getting us the desired result, right? But now we have a new term called context engineering, where we are kind of engineering the prompt that we are giving it so that we can get better results from the agent or from the LLM. And the reason why I am talking about this, because context engineering has different parts where you give it maybe an external API, database, or you also give it system instructions. So context has different parts, and that's a whole new topic. But one part of it is called system instructions, and basically you tell the LLM to behave like what you want it to be. So that is what I am telling it, that okay, you should behave like a professional invoice generator, and you should be giving me an invoice including all of these fields. So this is where the AI part is happening, that I am invoking the serverless inference endpoint, and through prompt I am telling it what to do, that is it, and the model that I am using is one from the list that we just saw. So after all of this is happening, if you, this code by the way is fully open source, so even if I am scrolling it now, you will be able to see it. So here I put in more details about how the invoice should look like and the reason, and then I also wrote some CSS just to make sure that the designing is according to our brand styles. So this is also main reason why we built the starter kit, that you can use it as it is, but you can also customize it according to your own needs. So like we have customized it according to our branding, which is blue and white mostly. So this is where the entire the coding part is happening, where we are integrating recent like the email delivery service, the AI service, and getting the billing information as well. And then finally there is this root file as well, where the routing is happening and the everything is coming together. So that's the code part of it. That's a lot of information, which is why I am just trying to go through the overview of the top level part so that you understand how everything is working. But in short, this is everything that you need to do to build an AI let's say powered feature for your application. And like you saw, all that you need to do is just get the endpoint and add it to your code. Or if you would not like, even if you would like to skip that, you can just use the code that I have written and maybe extend it according to your own use case, because it's open source, you can fork it. So that's about it. Now let me start the presentation again. I have already showed you the code, and here are some resources. I don't have the QR code to it right now, but maybe if two things that you can check out. First is if you go to GitHub and just type for SeaStack or SaaS starter kit, that's the repository that's there, and everything that I showed right now is there on GitHub in the second repository. And the third one is Hacktoberfest. For anybody who wants to get started with open source and wants to start contributing, this is your time. I'll maybe wait a bit for you all to click pictures if you want to. Should I zoom in a bit or is it fine? Fine. Great. And then the final one, this is the Gradient AI platform that we have. So if you can, like the serverless inferencing part that I showed and the Gradient AI that I kept mentioning. So this is the product documentation that you can check out. And if you are signing up, like I mentioned, you'll also get $200 worth credit. So you don't have to worry about, like paying it out of your pocket. So that's all from my end. And I'll keep this one up a bit. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll also show you the link to the meetup that we are doing during Hacktoberfest, basically a hackathon. If you would like to participate, if you're in the city, please do come down.